Hey everyone, and welcome to the Learning Ladder. Today I thought I'd do a quick update, homeschool update, channel update, and a little bit of a life update as well. And let's get started. So homeschool update, I am filming this now because I've got a video posting next week when I would normally do it. But everything's been going great this month. We are still really loving all our curriculums, that's great. I'm really loving our flow of our day. The subjects that we're doing, she's so interested in, with the biology, the chemistry, her baking, my IT curriculum, language arts, everything is going really well. Maths, everything is going really well, so that's great, it's fantastic. We're still really enjoying spelling, you see. I did say that I would update after the 6 weeks of doing it. This is our 6th week, and I think I'm going to extend my trial by 2 more weeks just to be sure, but because we switched from the theme that we're currently doing into a second theme in the book, so I'm just going to wait another 2 weeks to be sure, but it's been going really well. She enjoys it, so that's the most important thing to me, because I was talking to my friend actually the other day, the mama librarian, about spelling, and you know, she was mentioning whether or not a curriculum is necessary for spelling. We were having a conversation about it, and I do think that for us currently it is, so that's why I do want to carry on doing the curriculum. That might change, because I think so yes, whether or not a curriculum is necessary, and I think as time goes on, I think we probably will, either if it's incorporated into our language arts program like it currently is, then we probably wouldn't do anything extra, or if I wanted to do from a unit study style where we're, you know, incorporating everything, and so we're choosing words, for example, from the unit we're using. But right now, I think because she's only just turned 8, you know, so I do think she still does need her spelling curriculum. So we are going to continue with it, and as I said, up to now, I think Spelling You See will be the one for this year. I'm just going to do an extra 2 weeks of my trial period to make sure, because as I said, the theme slightly changes. It's just going crazy. After week 7, it changes. So I just want to make sure. But yes, we're really enjoying it. She's really enjoying it, which is the most important thing. I really like how it works in terms of them visually highlighting the key points of where it can be tricky. So for example, the tricky Y guy, you know, how he can say E, he can say I, you know, different than what you would expect. Everything else that completely don't make sense, like you are for nurse, and the English language has so many words that are just insane that anyone who tries to learn English as a foreign language, I'm in complete awe of you, because it is one of the most trickiest languages to learn. So a lot of it doesn't make any sense, and it's got so many different dialects and so many different components from different old languages that have been brought into it. So you've got some French, you've got some, you know, a mixture of different roots. It's a hard language to learn, so I'm definitely in awe of any of you foreign speakers out there who choose English as your second language. So yes, that's where I was spelling. Everything else, we managed to go on our field trip before we were locked down, so that was great. We went to Cadbury World, which was part of our literature unit study for Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, which she was reading herself, and it was great. It was so different though, but that has been the case since lockdown. Wherever we've gone, it's been so different. There is hardly anyone there. They only open now on a weekend. They don't open during the week anymore because of I guess visitor numbers, because it's not feasible for them to stay open with so few people going. And I don't know whether it's because there's not a demand, because when I tried to book tickets, I think it took me 2 or 3 months before I could get tickets. So I don't think it's necessarily demand. I think it's just they are really cutting back on social distancing, and there was plastic screens everywhere and hand sanitizer machines everywhere. It was so different than when we've been previously, but you know, we still had fun and we made the most of it and everything else. But it's just been like that in general from lockdown. Everywhere we've gone, it's always been a lot different than it was previously, which is understandable. Very, very socially distanced. I've always felt that. I think that's probably why I do feel safe in going out, because from my experience, wherever we've gone anywhere that's been extra, so apart from the grocery store, it's always been so socially distanced in terms of the screens everywhere, there's hand sanitizer everywhere, people are wearing their masks, there's way less people, so it doesn't make me nervous about going out and things because of that. So I think some people have it in their mind that they can't go out because it's not safe and everything else, but I think that's probably because they're either living in a different country or a different part of their country where when they've gone out they've had different experiences, perhaps, I don't know. But for my personal experience, it's been extremely socially distanced wherever we've gone, and I've always felt safe. But yes, we are now in tier 3, which means that we have had restrictions imposed. Things like pubs and bars are closed. That doesn't affect me. I don't drink, I never have, so that doesn't. But I know a lot of people do. In terms of people who work there, that's the type of people that bother me the most. People who would work in that industry. Other leisure centres, that does affect us, because swimming and stuff, that's been closed. The cinema was closed ages ago anyway. They decided they weren't going to reopen. What else is closed? I'm trying to think. There's restrictions on going into people's houses, but we already had that. But it also indoors too. So for example, if you were going to a restaurant to meet your friends or something, you can't do that anymore. If you go into a restaurant, you have to just go. The only places that are allowed to stay open are those that are serving substantial food, and even then it's extremely socially distanced. We don't eat out very much, plainly because we can't afford to, but when we have gone out, it's always been very socially distanced anyway, so again, I felt safe doing it. What else? Travel is advised against out of the area and into the area, and they don't. It's advised against overnight accommodation, and it's not legal. It's not the law, but it's strongly advised against. And we're actually due to go on holiday. I booked this holiday months ago. We're due to go to Scotland in a little cottage. It would have been our first family holiday altogether for 5 years, so we were really looking forward to it. But we did the right thing when it came down to that we were locked down and everything else. We contacted the travel agent and requested to cancel. However, we've been told we can't because the area that we're going to in Scotland isn't locked down. So we've been told we cannot cancel, and if we desire to, then we'd lose 90% of what we paid, and we can't afford to do that. We couldn't even afford to go on holiday anyway, had it not been for the fact that it was an amazing deal. It was so heavily discounted than normal. So we can't afford to lose that money. But none of us are sick. If we were sick, it would be no question, we couldn't go. But we do not have coronavirus. So if we end up going, then we will go. But as far as I know, a lot of other places in Scotland are closed anyway. So, it wouldn't be that great a holiday anyway. So I'm kind of hoping that... not that I'm wishing lockdown on someone else, but I'm kind of hoping that that there are more restrictions imposed in Scotland so we can actually cancel and get our money back. But if we can't, then we'll just go and be safe as always, and enjoy what we can of the holiday. So that's that. In terms of life update, I just with the whole lockdown thing, I did make a video about it recently. And I don't want it to be misinterpreted or misconstrued that I'm saying that I don't value people's lives and I'm selfish and because I want to do things and go places. I'm not saying that at all. We completely locked down. We respected all the regulations. We did everything we were supposed to. During the lockdown period, the only place we went to was the supermarket, and that's only because we absolutely had to. There was no delivery slots, no click and collect, so we had to physically go to the store, otherwise we would starve. But we did it very carefully, washed our hands, everything else. So we completely did lock down. Then when things started opening again, we still didn't go anywhere for a while because there was nowhere to go. You couldn't get tickets for anywhere because everywhere here has been ticket based. You couldn't just go to I don't know, an attraction. You couldn't just go to anything. You had to have tickets. It had to be pre-booked. We couldn't go to any of our historical sites, even though they were all outdoors. You had to pre-book, wait for your time to get your tickets. So we have really socially distanced, and even, like I say, when you're there, it's all very strict, washing your hands, wearing masks indoors, keeping away from people, dots on the ground, everything else. So it's not like I think that you shouldn't follow socially distanced rules at all. My point I was trying to make in that video was that my fear is a lot of people are losing their jobs and it's not working. So what's going to happen to all those people that are losing their jobs for the future? That's what my concern is. If it worked, then amazing, I would have no qualms about it, but it's not showing that it's worked because numbers have crept back up again. And I don't think that just because people have such strong opinions one way or the other, that should stop conversation about it, because that's where new ideas form. And something could come out of it, that there was a better suggestion as to another way that could improve things, because at the end of the day, this is a new virus that no one's ever seen before, and every country's doing different things, locking their borders, but they can't do that forever. So I do think we have to have a long-term strategy. The whole world has to have a long-term strategy of how to deal with this, because at the moment it's all very much one country's going to do this, one, you know, it's very individualized, and I don't think that works for a pandemic. I think there does have to be a global initiative of this is what we're going to do, because we are a global world. People travel from different places for business, goods travel, so we can't just close off everything for an indefinite amount of time. There has to be some kind of plan. Now everyone's riding on these vaccines, which is great. If they work, I'll be cheering with my pom-poms, so, but I'm just worried. I've never cheerleaded, but you know what, I'm just joking, but you know what I mean. I just, I'm worried that what if the vaccines don't work, and if it's, some scientists at the moment currently are saying that it's going to be here indefinitely. So I do think that there has to be a different plan, because just our country alone has spent over £200 billion on coronavirus in the last 8 months, and that's not sustainable. Countries are going to go bankrupt because of it, and what happens to all the people then that don't have a job and are relying on the state to feed them and clothe them and everything else? So I do think that it's sensible and the wise thing to do to have an open conversation, whether or not you agree, whether you think that you're staying at home and by choosing to stay at home, you're doing the right thing. We chose to stay at home too. So it's not that I'm a bad person by saying this. I'm not choosing to save lives by wanting to have that conversation. It's that it's important conversation to have, because it's not sustainable long term. And what, for those types of people that think they're doing the right thing by choosing to stay at home, which we did too, what do you think that we should do for the future? Because what if it doesn't go anywhere? What's your plan then? What if we're stuck with it? So these are all important conversations to have, that you should have before that happens too, to be prepared, so you know what you're doing, to have a plan in place. So I just wanted to clarify that. I didn't get much hate. I think I got one comment that was saying something negative, but I didn't make that video to provoke hatred or to provoke anything like that. I made that video because it's genuinely something that I think we should all be thinking about, because it doesn't appear to be going anywhere. And even countries that have got rid of it completely, suddenly it creeps back, but their measures sometimes of getting rid of it completely are not sustainable, like for example closing borders completely. So I do think it's something that we have to have a conversation about and plan for the future. So that's that. I'm trying to think what else. Oh, so I mentioned new content on the channel. I'm planning on not posting any videos in December, because I just want to enjoy the festive period this Christmas time more than well, I always love Christmas anyway, but this Christmas time, particularly with coronavirus and everything this year, I really want to make it magical, and that just means focusing all my time and all my energy on doing that, for my daughter and everything else, because I think it will be different. I don't think there'll be Santa. As I said, it's been so hard to get tickets for things. That's going to be compounded at Christmas time. So I really want to make it magical for her as much as possible. So I really want to devote all my time to that. And although people think that making videos is really simple and everything else, it does take time. So I do want to invest my time in December wisely. I mean, not that I waste time doing YouTube, I'm not saying that at all. I really do like making videos and everything else, but it is time consuming, and I want to spend my time doing different things in December to make everything as magical as possible, given the fact that things will probably be different in terms of what's available that we would normally do for our Christmas time. I might do some things on my blog though, showing you recipes and things, because I love to bake, especially at Christmas time. There's so many things to bake, and with my daughter being so interested in baking this year, I really want to take that opportunity. So we are going to do a cookies from around the world series, I guess, not for YouTube or anything, but just for us. So that's going to be so fun. So I think I will post maybe some things on my blog. I'm not guaranteeing I will do that, because it's just whether I feel what's the word I'm looking for, inclined or inspired to post stuff on there. I might do that. I haven't decided completely yet, but I am doing Bookmas in November, so every day in November there will be a video just showing one of our favourite books. It is an open collab, and I'll be posting next week another video about it with all the instructions of how to take part if you want to. So check out that video next week if you want to take part in Bookmas in November. That was part of the reason why I wanted to post Bookmas in November rather than December, because then I can interact and everything else in comments if I get any, or any questions or anything about the collab and things like that, which I probably wouldn't have been able to do in December. It's National Novel Writing Month in November, and I really want to finish the book I've been working on in my free time, so that's another reason that I decided to do Bookmas in November as well, so that I can actually concentrate my free time on doing that. And what else? I'm trying to think. So yes, there probably won't be any videos in December. The other thing as well is I'm really going to try not to do is watch much YouTube in December. That's so hard because that's one of the times of the year where everyone's posting much more, and it's always fun content, and I love Christmas, but it's a time drain. So as much as I like YouTube, it is a time drain, and I like to read Christmas books at Christmas time, and if I'm just watching everyone's videos in December, then I don't have time to do that. So I think I'm definitely going to be taking an overall YouTube break as much as possible. I'm not going to say I'll never watch any videos, because if you do a what's in my Christmas stocking video, you'll probably sucker me in, because I love all those types of videos. Or Christmas grocery haul. But I see watching Christmas grocery hauls is useful, because then it's things like that you could possibly think to make or buy for your Christmas food, so that's okay. But just watching people's day in the lives and stuff, no, I'm not going to be doing that, because it's a time drain, and I really want to, in my free time, read Christmas books and watch Christmas movies, and in my free time, meaning when my daughter's asleep, and when she's awake, I want to just make everything as magical as possible. We always put our tree up early anyway. We always put it up Thanksgiving time anyway in November, so we'll still be doing that. Might even put it up a little bit earlier. A little bit concerned with Miss Shadow over here, what she's going to be like with the tree. Oh dear. You want me to play with you? Okay. Yeah, what she's going to be like with the tree, so that's going to be interesting, because it's her first Christmas. Our dogs are fine usually. We have one who's a little bit more interested in stuff, who was a puppy last year and did try to nibble a few things, so she probably will try again. She purposely comes upstairs and takes the cat's toys and runs downstairs with them. Our other dog is a complete angel, absolute angel. Would never do anything like that. He doesn't even beg. If they broke the mold when they made Jace, he's such the most kind, sweetest dog. And don't get me wrong, I love Quinn to pieces too. She's a lot more feisty, a lot more demanding. Typical Cavalier temperament, I've heard, because they want everything immediately. But I still adore her, and if you watched my videos a while back, she saved us from that potential fire in our garden. It wasn't a fire, it was a real fire in our garden. She saved us, so we love her to pieces just as much. But yes, I am curious how Miss Shadow is going to do it. I've got some ornaments from when I was a child. They're one of the few things that I still have from when I was a child, so I don't think I'm going to put them on the tree this year. But everything else, my daughter loves decorating the tree. I haven't had a look in the Christmas tree for the past 3 years, but that's absolutely fine. Christmas is all about kids. I love it too, but you know, she decorates the tree, I do the ceiling, and that's fine with me. But yes, that's everything for now. So yeah, no content in December, but we'll be back again in January. And I think I said in the summer I wasn't going to post, and I ended up doing it. So anyway, so I think I'm okay to not post anything in December, and just enjoy. And I encourage you to enjoy yourself as much as possible if you want to, if you celebrate Christmas, obviously, and obviously safely and everything else. But I think we all need this at Christmas time. We need it to be as magical as possible, and I really hope we get some snow, but I think I'm really dreaming there. Anyway, I'll see you in our next video. Take care. Bye for now.